welcome to Full Court Press, of course, the best sports podcast in the country. And tonight, it's my privilege to welcome a true basketball icon, Mr. Okiasi. With a career spanning for more than 10 years, he has left an incredible mark on the game. His contributions to basketball are immeasurable, and we are honored to have him share stories about his basketball journey with us. Steve, you're very welcome. Say something to the viewers.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Hope everybody will enjoy this show today. Thank you so much.
I was very honored to watch you play. I learned a lot from you. You used to take the game very seriously, but I can call you a chameleon. I'll compare you to Ronaldinho. You enjoyed what you're doing. We always say it's a sport we're supposed to enjoy. I think you enjoyed the game.
Yeah, I did.
From the look of things.
I did. Yeah, I enjoyed lots of the game, because what it was to me earlier on, it wasn't just in a sport. It was something you did, for leisure, not, just have fun, like share with friends. This is the moment we have to have fun. That's what it was for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us how you fell in love with basketball. I know that's a story very many people want to hear.
Falling in love with basketball. I found basketball in high school, in Kyambogo College. I remember my first day attending school. I saw the game, and I was staying near my primary school. So when I saw these guys play this game, I remember I got a football, and at home I wanted to show these kids who were in the primary school. I was saying that I got something new. I got to show you guys, and I went to the netball pitch. And I was playing netball, and because Chama would start up to 3:30, so I would leave school earlier than those primary school kids. And I would play while they are watching and try to mesmerize them, and that was how I started the game primarily.
Okay.
Yeah. But after that, it was I think senior 3. We're supposed to choose the subjects that we're supposed to do. And I remember I'd chosen political education. I hadn't chosen literature in English. But when I came back, I missed the first week because I was sick. When I came back, the class was full, and I'd choose another subject. So because these guys were my friends, Shell Wapera Julius was a friend and was doing literature, so I ended up doing literature. And because most of the guys who did literature, so it was some kind of badge, an identity thing. So we did literature together, and we ended up playing basketball also together. Yeah. So from that moment on, we just kept playing and getting to the school team, and the opportunities just kept coming up.
How easy was it to learn the game? Did you have coaches, or you had mentors who?
We never had coaches, actually. We never had coaches, as per se. Not in high schools, not much in the league. Because basically, someone that fell out playing started coaching. So high school, you basically had to watch other guys play. You learn playing 21, pick up every day. You watch what other guys are doing, and that. Because I remember bounce was a problem for me. So there's been a problem. The handles, even up now, the handles are not that good. But I remember watching guys, I could only shoot. I was really good shooter from earlier on, and I could jump. Those were basically what I brought to basketball. I could shoot and I could jump. Then I realized I couldn't just rebound. I wanted to take the ball across because I saw the Normans do it. I saw Omonj do it. And the position we wanted to look out for, I remember Shell talking to me that, instead of just rebound passing the ball to guards that do not pass it towards the other side, we should learn how to take it across the court like Norman does, like Omonj does, and that will be a good deal for us. That's how we started working on the dribble. So much of what I did, I learned working on my left hand on my own, the left hand dribble, the left hand layup, much of those things. You just looked at what other guys were doing great, and you tried to do it.
Did you compete in major tournaments when you're in Kyambogo?
Kyambogo College?
Kyambogo College for your O-level.
I was thrown in the deep end. Sprite. That time, SMAC were deadly guys. There was SMAC. I remember meeting Okecho, the late Will brought Okecho, and then Alex in Dibwame. I remember we were going for the game. I was a senior 3. We were going for the game, just joined the team. They put me the big guy because I could jump and rebound, and those are the guys I was supposed to mark. My first tournament, first time playing, I haven't improved on the dribble, I haven't improved on what I can just rebound, I can't shoot. And I don't know making those guys, but I remember blocking Ox and Ndibwami, and that's my talking point up to now. that I was able to block those guys and, make a statement earlier on. When I didn't, I should have had to make such statements. Yeah, that was the biggest tournament that I played this beginning with.
I mean, from Kyambogo College, what high school did you join next?
St. Kalemba.
St. Kalemba. How was basketball at St. Kalemba?
It wasn't big when I just joined. It wasn't big, but when I joined with Shell, we really changed because it was a soccer team. They were majored in soccer.
From Kyambogo, you joined St. Kalemba?
Both, yeah. I actually followed him there. My dad wanted me to go back to Kyambogo College because most of the teachers there had taught them.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to be there. But I remember I wanted to change because of a day school, single sex, and I wanted to have that experience of a mixed boarding school. And so when Shell was there, he told me, come, you can easily get admission, and that's how I went there. Yeah, I ended up I just followed him.
Was there basketball at St. Kalemba? You said it was a
yeah. There was the game was there, but wasn't looked at as this top tier game. And when we got there, just the impact we had with the team, Wapera was the scorer. Incidentally, when I started, I wasn't the scoring.
So
scoring players. I was basically a defensive player. So Shell would do the scoring and I would do the defending. I would block, I would rebound. Basically, that's what I took with the game. And when we went there, we made really quite a good team. And I remember we upstaged teams in the Mukono region. I remember there was Kawowo just starting out at that time. And we went for this tournament and we were the best guys. We were called a surprise package in 98. I remember we called a surprise package, beating Marcos. I think we beat Marcos. I only lost to, we lost to Tororo College, who were beaten by Chibuli in the finals. Okay. Yeah.
How special was Pride back then? I mean, I've had a lot of.
It was everything. It was the World Cup of Ugandan. It was the World Cup of the Ugandan basketball at that time. It was everything. There was so much flair about it. The putting on the jerseys, having to take the soda Sprite. They would give out the prizes. It's the whole year is what you looked out for. There was really a lot of hype about it. It was very big.
I mean, how many schools were supposed to participate in the tournament? And was it mixed girls and boys?
Yeah, but the participation of girls wasn't big that time. Maybe 20-something. I remember the boys' team should have been 40-something about.
40-something schools?
I think about. Or 30-something. It wasn't that big. Yeah, because basketball in most of the high schools was just getting started and competitive. Because most teams maybe had a basketball court, but they were not thinking of competitions. Yeah.
I mean, speaking about, I know you've been around for quite some time. You played basketball back then, and you're now coaching a couple of kids. I know you're coaching one of the universities.
Yeah.
Just a question: what is the difference between basketball back then and today?
Back then.
I know it's a wide question.
You see, back then we played basketball to make a statement to an opponent. We didn't play for bursaries because they were not there at that time. We didn't play for money because money was not there at that time. Just getting the opportunity to get on that court was the biggest deal. And if you got that opportunity, you had to make a statement.
Yeah.
And so if I was playing, if we were doing 21, we played a lot of 21 at that time. If we're doing 21, you're learning the guys who were shooters, you wanted to shoot at like that guy. The guys that tracking drives, you wanted to shoot like that guy and upstaging. Basically, upstaging the other guys was how you won your spurs.
Yeah.
And at that time, at the individual level, then it came to school. I remember in St. Kalemba, at that time, Chitante were just bad news. They were
with the likes of who?
With the Berus, the Aaron Okamringers. Most of the guys who have gone out, Steve Omon, those guys were really big deal. And if every time you got onto a court, to make a name for yourself, you had to play against those guys. You wanted to do something. And I told you when I blocked Oxian and Diwami when we played against those guys at SMAC, it was a talking point for me. That upstaged me, put me at a certain level. I could have some hype around myself. And that's basically when you earned on court. So that time, the competition was so high for you to make a statement. And now you see people don't have so much. I don't see that in the league a lot, that somebody, like, let me tell you, when we were playing in Kyambogo College, in Kyambogo Warriors, we took, I think, about 3 seasons just to beat Power and Falcons.
3 seasons?
About that, just to beat them in the league game. Yeah. We were winning these other games, but to beat those teams. And I know the first time we beat Power, that was a big deal. It was the biggest deal. So now, basically, if I upstaged you, that means now I'm the talking point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you play to upstage a person to be the talking point, and it's not how it is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you land the game? I'm still very, very interested in knowing that you're a legend. I mean, not just any kind of legend. I've hosted a couple of people here on the show, and I asked them who are the best players who have ever played like in Uganda, and they mentioned you.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
I'm
know the
honored.
kids will be very interested to find out how you improved the game. I mean, how you improved your personal game.
My personal game, like I told you, I could jump. I just had that ability. So when I joined the team, they just put me on big man, but I didn't have that size. Yeah, and I did it. It was job. It was duty. I had to rebound, and that's how I got to the team. Then you realize what is actually more fun. It was more fun having control of that ball. Okay, so personally, I remember getting a ball on our garage at home. I would just try. You come up with ideas how to work on the left hand bounce, take it through the legs, do this. You gave yourself those challenges. So we didn't have what kids have now on the net, that you check out this workout regime and then you go through it. No, we didn't have that.
Okay.
Maybe what we had, but I didn't do it, was this thing of jumping. I've forgotten what
Air
they
alert.
called it. Air alert. That was the only thing I know people shared. You wanted to jump. Okay, I tried a little bit of it, but I didn't really go so much into it. So I could shoot. I relatively improved in Warriors with time shooting, especially on the 3-point. But when I joined the league, I was a good shooter. Even when I joined Warriors, the small shots came so easy to me. Yeah, but there was what I learned in the league was the big man. I learned from the Henrys. Like I'm telling you, that time you watch what guys were doing and
you learned.
gave your time to do it. I learned the post move. Of course, I wasn't that strong. I didn't love it. So you'd post up. I had just a post up, check, turn and shoot. That's basically all I learned. But I just learned the footwork, self-footwork from them. Like I told you, we picked some dribbling from the Normans. I didn't learn to handle the ball as good as they did. But I did little. What actually worked also against me, growing in the game was I joined the league as a small one, and I wanted to be a small man. And then the Henrys leave, and I have to play 5-man. So it never get me time to work on being the big man and work on being the small guy, because you kept vacillating from the position to another. Yeah, that's happening.
Okay. Are there any memories you remember from your high school days? Something catchy, of course, apart from blocking Will, Brother, and Alex.
Beating Marcos, it was in the news. I think it was my first time to be in the newspapers, though they called me Okiasi Joseph. I wasn't actually supposed to attend that tournament because I've always had problems with my knees. And I remember we went to a certain doctor and he told my dad, no, I had to stop sports at that point because eventually it would affect my knees and maybe they would be amputated. So I just escaped from home to go for that tournament.
How old were you by then?
I was 18. I escaped from home to go for that tournament. And you have this, from way back, we've had this history of buying newspapers.
Yeah.
So my dad used to send me to buy a newspaper. It was a distance. So you buy a newspaper, there's this excitement you have, oh, my name is in the papers. But then you think, oh, dad is going to now. But the good thing was I was called Okiasi Joseph. So he never asked about it. But it was exciting beating Marcos because they called it a surprise package. Basketball was in the central region. And coming from St. Kalema, that was deep in Mukono, and being in the quarterfinals, being in the top 8 was the biggest deal for us in the whole country. Knowing how we had gotten there, we shouldn't actually gone for those nationals.
The nationals were in Kampala.
Yeah, they were in SMAC.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you escaped from home.
Yeah, I escaped. I remember the team. What happened was the school first told us they didn't have facilitated the logistics to take us.
Yeah.
So I remember the last day they told us, okay, you guys also first go home. Then the sports master really lobbied and the teams traveled. And it wasn't an era of telephones at that time, mobile phones.
Yeah.
So some people were sent to trace me down at home. And so they find me with dad and they have to explain it to me. Then I know for the next whole week, I'm going to be aware. And how do I explain to my dad?
Yeah.
So I had to lie. We had to go back for the time, called it Term X.
Yeah, Term X.
Term X at school
Yeah.
that time. And then the other good thing was it wasn't so much on TV. so much just the newspapers. And when we went to the tournament, that I didn't expect to be part of. That the school didn't expect to be part of. So, most teams, it was easy coming in. They had maybe the budgets to sponsor them to be there. And we shouldn't have been there. Then there we had the 8th. Amongst the top 8. That was really special.
So you beat Marcos.
Yeah, we beat Marcos in the quarters to get this. Luckily, we were in the top 4. We lost to Toro College in the semis.
Which players were in Marcos back then, if you can
Marcos,
remember?
Derek Rukari. I remember Derek Rukari. There was Emma Mulo. Emma Mulo. There was Val Okecho. Yeah, those are the guys I remember.
Then in the semis,
and then there was... no, it wasn't Smack. I was going to say someone else. No, it wasn't Smack.
Then in the semis, you lost to...
We lost to Toro College. Oloban Company. Oloban Company. I don't remember most of the other guys. Oloban Company. I think there was Tito. Was it Tito? Yeah, there was Tito. I don't know where Tito went after that, but I remember Lobo is one who played in the league after that.
So that was an achievement.
Yeah, that was big deal. You're not supposed to be part of this tournament. Then you're there and you're in the semi-finals. Yeah, that was big.
I mean, from St. Kalemba, you joined Makerere.
Yeah.
And I know Makerere was one of the best universities.
Yeah.
How was basketball in Makerere?
Our pickup was like a league game every day.
Every day?
Every pickup day was like a league game. Basically, Makerere at that time had the elite basketballers in the much of the league. Most of the guys went to Makerere. And look, you had Waswa, you had Ox, Wilbrod Okecho, you had the Tooks, you had the Okiasis, you had the Summer Balls, you had basically you had the cream. And you had almost 8 teams.
8?
Big,
8 pickup teams?
Yes. You had so many good guys. And, winning a game was blood. You think about 8 teams. How long you'd have to get back on that court.
Yeah.
So when you play that, and there were these rivalries in the league, of course. I remember I used to have these putback dunks in Makerere, and in the league, it was my specialty, putback dunks. And I never had one over Ox. and he was a talker, yes. He had this thing, and I remember I would keep looking for that opportunity when I would dunk over this guy. And I remember it happening at one of those pickup guys. Say, no, we're just having fun here. I want in the league. Come and do it in the garden. They used to call YMC at the garden. Come and do it at the garden. And you never won anything with Ox. It was really a big trash talker. So I remember I had to put back and I had this thing. I love it. Was an emotional thing that really hyped me up. I did it, and when I did it in the league, it was a big deal for me.
Still on Ox?
Yeah, on Ox.
What did he say?
He was a Muyai. When he did anything good against Ox, he's holding the ball, trying to put through, act like he's talking to Marvin, talking to somebody. He doesn't want to be caught up in that moment. Like he has just escaped out of that moment. He's already talking to someone and trying to escape.
To pretend.
Pretend, that sort of thing.
I mean, there was
but pick up, it was big deal. I remember there was the region. I think they had regionals, East, West, North, and I remember
at Makerere.
Yeah. We had, and the East we came champs. I was with Mark and Abu. I remember Mark and Abu. I don't remember much of the other guys. With Mark and Abu, the Serunyigos were in the Central.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Ochan was in the North. I don't remember most of the guys. So basically, you looked at playing, carrying what happened in the league into court, and we were the same other guys.
And most
so
guys
every other time, like I'm telling you, we talked more to each other than happens now on social media. So when I met you, I wanted to beat you up in that game, and I would talk until the end. So after that, we'd be going to Hajatis. There was a place that used to sell juice. So after that's when you review what happened. So if anybody who was maybe coming from work or from lectures who didn't attend pickup that day was getting to hear it from that place. That's where we had all the Lugam of the training sessions there. So that's when you would talk, I had a dunk over there. I finally blocked this guy. I did this. There was a crossover. Yeah.
I mean, speaking about the inter-regions, I've noticed a lot of talent has come from the East. Ginger, Soroti, that road. What is so special about that road? In relation to basketball? Nothing
special. I think maybe it's the physique big, the Easterners. Maybe it's just the physique. nothing really special about that.
Are there facilities there?
No. No. I know there's a facility, like in my home place. They didn't grow up much there. Like I grew up in Chireka. Studied in Kyambogo. That's basically where I met basketball. So I can't say that I can attribute it to the East. Maybe just being an Easterner, saying maybe I have the attributes of the East that have really manifested into a good basketball, talent.
I mean,
I can say.
Norman from Ginger,
Yeah.
Ivan Enabu, Jimmy, Okias, all from there. You guys were talking about Kisa Godi, all from there. I think there's special talent that side or something.
No. I don't know. I can't really say it because I don't think the Nabus also can say that they grew up that side. Like I'm telling you, it's just that we are Easterners that maybe have that attribute. Nothing really, because it's not about the facilities.
Yeah.
No. Because I know most of the guys who have played, the Henrys, they can't say that.
The Henrys also.
The Henrys. So all of us will say Kyambogo is our home ground.
Okay.
Most of us, yes. The Wibero Kechos will say Kyambogo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, still talking about Makerere, basketball Makerere, you guys used to have Interhall. Yes.
Interhall.
How was Interhall?
Interhall, Lumumba against Nkrumah. I know Chan will want to talk about this. That rivalry was so huge. It was big deal. Nkrumah against. So you would have, there would be I would call them the underdogs. UH wouldn't really so much talk about. Livingston, I remember they put up a team, they even joined the league, the Summer Balls.
Oling
Michaels. Much of the big guys were in Lumumba. Me, Shell, Ox, Waswa. We really had the cream. And then Nkrumah had the Tooks, the Chans, the Owumo, Eddie, the current coach of the Oilers, Andrew Tendo. Yeah. So basically, these were the big fire brands that are coming up. And Lumumba and Nkrumah, even with the culture of Makerere, there were big rivalry between them. Yeah. So much of the time we would meet at the finals. Oh my God. It was crazy. It really be crazy. But it was almost like a league game. Because you had the cream in this team meeting a cream in that team, so the whole court would fill up. And you had this hype about the game. And then the players also had a lot to prove to each other, just as the halls and carrying back what has happened in the league. It was big deal in Makerere, really. It was so much.
I mean,
I remember even inter-universities.
How easy? First, talking about the inter-universities, how easy was it to make the best 12?
No, it wasn't easy. It wasn't.
Who was the coach?
It wasn't easy. That time, I think.
Was it YY?
Yeah, YY came a while. But what was the biggest deal was because when I was there, Andrew Tendo was the captain, and basically when you're a captain, you're leading. Yes, that's what's happening.
It must have been a challenge.
Yeah, it was a big challenge, I'm telling you. But of course, there were some of us who really stood out, especially in the league. Like, I remember we were heading to Zanzibar. I didn't manage because this time, there was a time my knees really became worse, that I couldn't walk straight. I just basically had to drag. So that was the time when my dad, I remember, took me for a checkup. I told him, if I ever hear anything about basketball again, you mad. And I remember Andrew, that time I was really deadly for Warriors. I was destroying force. I was dunking, I was blocking, really having this kind of fun game. Somebody wanted to have on your team. So many clubs wanted to have me on their roster. And I remember Andrew telling me, because he was the captain, you must be on come December, you must be on my team. You must be on my team. And so there was really guys who stood out. Ox would definitely have to be on the team. Shell would have to be on the team. So the competition would have to be with the guards, I remember that time, because there's so many guards, but we didn't have a million of them who would really upstage the others like would do in our position. I competed with Waswa for position 3. At that time, maybe with Shell. Yeah. Those are the guys who really stood out for our positions, yeah.
I mean, is there any university that beat you guys during the competitions?
At that time, there was Nkumba. No, the Nkumba didn't come up then because they came up in 2005 or 5. No, that time we were the force to reckon with.
You went unbeaten.
Yeah. We were just the first to reckon with the Uganda.
You went unbeaten in the whole of East
Uganda,
Africa.
yes. It was in East Africa that things were.
You got beaten.
Yeah, that's the time. That's where the challenge was.
Which team gave
But
you
you know,
hard time?
at that time, because I didn't travel, I don't remember now. I can't hold it in memory. Yeah, I did manage to travel. It really hurt me so much. I tried everything.
That's one of the tournaments you guys. That is, I think, the only tournament you guys lost
Yeah.
in Zanzibar.
In
That was
Zanzibar.
all East African games.
Yeah, the East African games.
Okay. So let's.
Actually, it was in Dar es Salaam, not Zanzibar. Dar es
was in
Salaam.
Dar.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let's dive into Warriors.
Warriors.
I know everyone outside there watching right now remembers you in Warriors so much. How did you join Warriors, and how did they recruit you?
Warriors, it was a no-brainer. I always had to join Warriors. I studied in Kyambogo College,
Yeah.
stayed in Chireka, then after Boyogerere. And basically it was the nearest court near me. And then I studied in Kyambogo. So you studied in Kyambogo, you had to end up with Kyambogo Warriors. Because it was just the way Kyambogo Warriors was created. Because remember, in Kyambogo, they used to have lower estate and upper estate children of the lecturers that time. So they used to play.
So that was a lecturer.
That's how the children of the lecturers. Lower estate were playing upper estate. So from there, they created the Kyambogo family. So from the Kyambogo family, that's how Warriors came. So whoever was in Kyambogo became part of the family. Because even us now who had studied, who had never stayed there, but were studying there, picked up the identity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I joined Warriors. When I was in Kyambogo College, we got a chance. We should have played for Kyambogo at that time, but I ended up playing for actually Sky Jammers.
Really?
One game.
And yet Warriors
One
was in the
game,
league.
yeah. No, in the league, they had a squad. I played for Jammers because I think we had a couple of guys. They didn't have a squad. Didn't have a squad to travel. Remember they had to travel at that time.
Yeah.
I think it was a logistic thing. They was playing Don Monge. They were playing Blue Jackets. Monge was in Blue Jackets at that time. So they said, "Oh, you want to play?" So they picked some of us
At
who were
YMCA?
good. You know, it was on Kyambogo.
Okay.
It was on Kyambogo. That's how actually I got to play because we were there. Then they don't have a team. Then you got a chance to play.
The match was at Kyambogo.
Yeah, it was at Kyambogo.
Okay.
Yeah, because the league would move at that time. Kyambogo, then sharing. Yeah, and I think pool court. Yeah, we used to play in pool court also. So the league would rotate at that time. Yeah, that's how I got a chance to play it. I didn't play at Kyambogo when I was for Warriors when I was in Kyambogo. But holiday time you're in Kyambogo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to sit and watch. I think the first time I should have played for them was 99. We were seated out, they're doing their workout before season. We're playing, but the coach benched me for a training session. And it actually hit me hard. A training session on your bench. So I stayed away for a while until my vacation 2000. Okay, now I remember when I came, there was Jeff Wamboko. I think I came mid-season. I came and just had picked up with them, but I was dropping all my shots. And they called me to sign in, and I remember Jeff Wamboko, they stayed out that weekend or something. And we're playing sharing. And I remember I had 14 points. I'll never forget. 14 points.
14, okay.
And those were out of 7 shots I took, I converted all of them. Yeah, so I started playing when I was in my vacation, Kyambogo Warriors. Yeah, when I was in Makere, I was still playing for them. I was staying in Makere, but I would do that pickup was like training for me. Yeah, so I would come I would go once in a while because we didn't have logistics for transport at that time. Yeah, you look for your own shoes, you looked for your own transport. Yeah, so you trained when you could really be able to get there.
How was the brotherhood in the team?
Okay, at that time we were just Kyambogo identity. We had this identity of Kyambogo guys, stayed around, studied Kyambogo, or the neighborhood. Okay, so we had this, we knew each other. The brotherhood grew. It grew over time, where the playoffs, I remember they used to go direct to the semis because the teams were 6, 7 at that time.
There were no quotas, huh?
There were 8 teams at that time. There were no quarters. So basically, from the regular season, you went direct to the semis. And the semis, it was like a privilege. Power, Rhinos, Falcons, and Blue Jackets. So the only team that you'd want to compete with the Blue Jackets, they were always the ones that would come number 4. So number 1 or number 2 was always Power or Falcons. Number 3 was always Rhinos. So Blue Jackets, much of the time, was number 4. So we were competing for the 4th position, or just to hit the playoffs. And from 2001, when I was one of the people to reckon with the team, up to 2004, we had just never hit the playoff. And I remember the media started calling us the nearly men, would do badly first round, then would come and push second round, we would win so many games, but then we would not qualify. Maybe a game or 2 games, or a point or 2, you're out. So nearly men. And at that time, clubs were like families. You were Warriors, that was your family. Miracle were family. Falcons, the Rhinos were family. Skyjammers were family. Sharing were family. Okay, so this was a family. When you went out, that's why I was saying it was more competitive than now. You knew this was a family, you knew you had to join the team. That's why I'm telling you, I had to join by the middle, because this was the family I belonged to.
Yeah.
There's no way I could have studied in Kyambogo and then I'm playing for Sharing or some other team, unless I'd shifted, or maybe I was staying in that side.
Yeah.
But I'm staying in the hood, there's no way I could have played for the team that side. So the brotherhood grew up out of the experiences we had of being nearly men, being branded nearly men, almost made it, almost did this, and sharing the pain of loss, of belief, of coming, falling short, never really hitting the potential that you thought you had. And every end of the season, I remember we would talk, crestfallen, and we'll talk of next season, we'll come back stronger.
Yeah.
And the good thing of that time is you were always sure of, if you're 10 guys, those 10 guys will be the next season. So basically what we went through this season would create momentum for us to play next season. Of course, you wouldn't carry the videos with you. It would just be in your mind. You wouldn't carry the videos and maybe try to review and see how you build the next season. But you're getting to the same 10 guys. Maybe you've added 1, 2, 3 guys. But also, again, from the same community, the same neighborhood, same guys you pick up with. So when you're going to play against Power, you're going to play against the other family, like taking on another country.
Yeah.
You understand?
I get.
So that's the identity that we grew up with, that we're family, we're brothers, and now we're taking on the other world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many years did it take before you won a championship with the
9.
Warriors? 9 years.
9.
And how was that championship here? What were the preparations like? What new players did you get? I mean, earlier on we were talking about it with Frank.
I never, when we talk about the 2009 championship, I never look at 2009. Though most people want to look at it, I never look at it. It is what was built through those years. Like I'm telling you, those losses meant a lot to us at that time. Me personally, up to now, those losses meant so many lessons to me now when I look back. Because, like, I give guys an example of 2007. We are 2 up against Falcons. Series of 5. We need 1. Falcons come from behind and beat us.
3 straight.
3 straight. And, we started celebrating even before we had the turn. Everybody, I remember Norman meeting me after game time and saying, you guys have one hand on the trophy. And basically we felt we had gone over the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our history of having being nearly men, it was, I think, the 3rd time we had actually been in the playoffs. It was 2005, 2006, now 2007. We're being champions. So I feel like maybe we're fresh behind our ears, wet behind our ears, and we're not ready for the challenge that we needed to be resilient in the finals. When we took those, it was so easy for us, and we didn't have that mental strength to take us over the hill. But they were good lessons. 2008, we come back, okay, now we think we have learned from the experience of the past season. Those are good lessons. But now there's a new challenge. Ron is injured, Brian is injured, then I pick up a knee injured. I think me it was the ankle, Brian the knee, then Ronnie, I don't remember, I think it was the shoulder. So here we are. We have the lessons that we needed. But now our bodies can't get us across.
Yeah.
That was even bigger than the other year. Because now it's what made me reflect and realize there's so much you go through, so much that comes into play for you to be a champion. because you can think, okay, now we have the lessons, but now your bodies can get you through. So when you go to 2009, that was all in the back of my mind personally. You have where you got so excited, being so impressionable. Then you think, now we have honed ourselves, we have been annealed, we have gone through the crucible test, and then your bodies can get you there. And I had this it was either knee or an ankle. I was always having this kind. So coming to 2009, we had these guys who had fought through so many challenges in pursuit of a championship. And we were just dying to get over with it, just be champions. So when Dula and Mato joined the team, I don't want to downplay what they did. They were massive on the team.
Yeah.
But they got this car that was crawling over a hill, getting there, determined, never going back, because we wouldn't have, gone back. But they got us there, and they just added the momentum. Just gave us that's the momentum that we needed. We needed Dula's experience. We needed Mato's explosiveness on the post. That's what we needed. And the 2009 team was so special personally, because through the years, we had situations like, first of all, we were few. We didn't have so many guys.
Yeah.
So if you're going for a game, like I started work before most of the guys, if you're going for a game, maybe you're from somewhere far, the game's about to start, so they're calling, where have you reached? So every game we must have the numbers.
Yeah.
Because everybody now started having a role. It was actually more illuminated in the 2009 team. But I remember you would be subbed, like sometimes in the game you're subbed, then the other team is scoring, then your own teammates are telling you, no, let's have Okiasi back on. You understand?
Yeah.
In 2009, if we had a guard who was torturing us, we'd call Richard at Haire. If we had a big man who was giving us a problem, we would call OJ. Okay, Joseph.
Yeah.
If we needed scoring, we knew who we wanted. If we needed a big man to come in, there was Mato, there was Duda was there to offset. He was a 3-man point guard. If we wanted a guard to calm down our offense, we had Ronnie. So basically, we had everybody appreciate his role. So many guys never got the playing time. But, like, I remember there was a game. I think Henry eventually got hurt, though it wasn't the intention. But I remember OJ saying, look, that guy is punishing us. Let me go and I calm him down.
That was Malinga Henry.
Yeah. And I remember we went and played defense on him. Then, when he calmed down, I think, unfortunately, he got injured. Then he said, no, now you guys come in and give us the scoring. That's something you never got in place. So when we're going through those processes, I mean, that kind of thing, it never hit me. It was later on being part of these star-cast teams that I look back and I remember what was so special about that team, that we knew each our role and we respected each other. We had Waligo Asan. He never could kid. He never got the jersey. He would be out there. But the impact that I still remember him, he would be on the game. When you're playing the heat of the moment and you're attacking the umpire, you are the opponent, then you'd call, Bagai, Muzanye. If we get that win, that's enough for me. So you're looking at a guy who doesn't even get put on the jersey, pushing you and, getting you focused in the game to do what he knows you best can do. Yeah. And so you can see the contribution of everyone on the team.
Yeah.
So 2009 got us when the pieces were there, waiting just to be fit like this.
Yeah.
And then the Matos came and just the jigsaw puzzle was done.
I mean, what team did you play in the finals?
Power.
And what was the series? How was that series?
4-2.
4-2.
Yeah.
2-0, then 2-2, then...
Yeah, 4-2.
Who took the first two games? How was the series, in other words?
It was tough. The series was tough. I remember that final game. We do want them to come. We really do want them to come and to come and upstage us because of the past we had. Remember, Falcons. We led Falcons 2 games in semis. Then they came and tied it up. And so the ghosts of past seasons came to haunt us. I remember us sitting with Kumi Siriza at YMCA, those metallic seats they had. Everybody has left. you've lost a game so we're seated there because we had played long in the team and say, maybe we're the jinx guys. We should just retire and let this team, get over the top. Maybe we should. When we go to game 5, we had that firepower. Falcons have done this to us. They can't do this to us again. Okay, so we get to the finals and still pushing us. We know what had happened to us in the past. And now we are not getting injuries. So we made power. And I remember they were also pushing us. I don't remember how it was a CISO. I remember it ended 4-2. But that game, the last game, I remember why it was tense. I think it was going CISO. They gave a technical to one of our players. They gave a technical. Tom Kamringa gave a technical to one of our players. Then Chambade, Monday, I think also Baker. I think something Ikong did. Then they teed him also, so they cancelled out.
Yeah.
But that tee, if that stood for them, they should have cancelled. I think we were leading by a point or 2 points, and we do want them to come back. We wanted it to end at that point.
Yeah.
Because we knew if we went ahead of them, with that pressure because of the pass that we had, we were not used to killing off the series. And we don't want to get into that point of nerves when we couldn't handle them. We're not sure I could do that. Yeah.
I mean, tell us about the Stephen Omoin saga of joining Warriors.
He trained with us.
With Frank.
He trained with us. There was Ambrose came and talked to us, the president. We are having this piece. He's coming to join us. He was introduced. Of course, we're excited. Oh, Steve Omoin. These are forces to reckon with the Ugandan basketball. Joining you, and you haven't yet won the champions. You want to think, okay, this is a good addition to the team. And he trained, I think, 2 training sessions with us. We had a friendly, but that was the end of the story. I think Falcons gave him a better offer.
72.
They wanted 72. And I couldn't blame him.
Yeah.
Really. If somebody is offering 72 million, at that time, even now, you can't, the Ugandan, standard of money in the game, you couldn't blame him. And so we didn't have him part with us.
I mean, what do you think Steve would have done if I joined you guys? Do you think Warriors would have achieved a lot if Steve had joined?
When I look back, seeing how he performed in other clubs later on, and the relationship he had with players, I don't think he would have been that great. See, it's how Warriors was,
The family.
Yeah, and we had this thing of humor. Even when Mark joined, I think most of the guys who joined, sometimes I look at guys and think, will this hand up being part of us? Because we always had these points in when we just, the banter would be too crazy.
Yeah.
Who would attack one of the players? It can be crazy, really. So tough. Like
and
Mark,
they can there for the juice.
Juice and even training sessions. It is.
Yeah.
I can't replay much of it. But it would get crazy.
Yeah.
But this was a team, that one moment, like, if you get blocked, you'd be like, crazy.
Bella would
you just know these clowns are going to kill me at training session. Or end of the game. You just know what will be happening when you're changing. You just know. Maybe somebody... It was crazy. Someone will mention something like they're keeping you for training sessions. So we had these moments when we would let ourselves go have fun.
Yeah.
And then would when it needed to happen. Like in a game, when these moments you would be so tough as a team. Then we just switched off the humor, and then now we are an elite team. And Dula fitted so much into that. Matotu, I think Martin too fitted into that. And
Kwakwe.
Yeah, he also fitted into that, and that was okay for the team. I think Steve his mentality. It was too much professionalism in the team, and we're not primed for that.
Yeah.
I think the team wasn't primed for that. Wouldn't have utilized him a lot.
Yeah.
That I think would have wanted to, like we did with Dolan.
There would be too much fear for him.
There would have been that fear factor, and then I don't think the team would have jailed outright.
Okay.
Though he was a great player.
I mean, that makes sense. So the second championship with Warriors.
Second championship.
That was in
2012.
Why did it take that long from 2009 to 2012? Did you
transition, we failed to manage transition. The club failed to manage transition. Yeah, because I remember I almost left in 2010, almost joined Miracle for the way the transition was run. Like I'm telling you, we became brothers.
Yeah.
Up to now, if any one of them calls, I'm just laughing even before I call. And they know, they just know. Why don't you? Why? If I'm not laughing, if somebody's going to ask why you're not laughing. But we shared so much. And when we were champions, we felt like we rewarded ourselves. And we should have been given a chance to enjoy our championship and maybe to explore the new heights that we had created with the championship.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 3/4 of the team is thrown out. And the manner in which the team was thrown out, that was heartbreaking. When I remember how those guys left the team, it hurt so much. They gave so much. You know, these were not clubs that were paying. These were players who gave their all. Yeah. I remember there was a time in 2000, most people never got to know this, was inside stuff. There was a time who the sponsor, our club president at that time, wasn't in touch with the team like for 3 months. So we are headless chicken. Dula used to love that time. We were just there as a team. So you remember there are no logistics and everybody's just trying to help each other. Why it's so special? I remember one training session, we are done with training, the banter is done, and then we are walking back. And then somebody says, I don't have transport. Then somebody illuminated it, say, oh, so-and-so doesn't have. And everybody just stopped. You know, like, everybody just stopped and transport was raised for that person. I remember that thing for how the other teams were built after that. And I know how special that moment that we knew how to take care of we were each other's keeper. Yeah. And we cared so much for each other, knew we needed each other in the team and tried to be the best that we could be for each other. Yeah, that was so special for that team. So these guys are all thrown. That was heartbreaking. And then we bring out the guys. Most of the guys who were coming are now coming into AN. Most of them, at least, that's the perception they're coming into AN.
Yeah.
And now the problem is we didn't gel as a team. Now you're bringing in the good pieces. But now there is the challenge of gelling.
Yeah.
Now, how do you rotate the ball? How do you rotate the team? How do you get the best out of every player? Yeah. That they don't hold themselves back with maybe envy or maybe this hard feeling. And the way the team was composed and the way the team was run also created this feeling of we had brought expatriates. Like, you know, the Ugandan understanding of expatriate? Yeah. They take all the cream, they take all the juice, and then you wait for the crumbs. Yeah. So that gave the team now, it brought a new dimension to the team.
Too much division.
Yes. Now, you could feel it. We tried not to show it, try not to let it manifest. Of course, you don't want that to happen. You don't want to think because you think of the championship. But you could see it. There were the guys who had been in the team and the guys who were not...
the businessmen.
who were not the businessmen, but they were the worker bees.
Yeah.
And then there were the guys, they also worked. They also work. I can't say they didn't work. They also worked, but they seem to be getting more incentives than the guys they found in the club. Yeah. So now you have the pieces. First, there is that thing of how to rotate. There are so many great pieces. And now how to manage the egos, how to manage, just the motivation in the team became a challenge. Yeah. So, but we're having really good guys. Every single season we're having great guys. Big bench. Even 2012 we were really having, but we didn't play as much in 2012 like we played in 2009. Yeah. Even 2010, Starkers team. Kariuki. You have this guy came, Mark came from KIU also. You had the Henrys.
Mahmoud, huh?
Yes, Mahmoud. You think of that team. You had
Henry,
Okiasi, you had the Henry. We had the... But when we went for Zone 5, we didn't win a game.
What?
And then the previous team, and the guys who were not that, went to the finals.
Of the Zone 5?
Yes. It was when the final lost to Cobank. So you can see what happened. Yeah. That now you get to realize we didn't have the mindset that was set. That should have made us championship team. We just had good pieces. But we were not in a mindset team. I mean, we don't have that mindset of a championship team. We didn't have that drive. Also, the successive years, like 2012, we won because we were so good for every one other person. But we didn't, if like, I'll tell you, we had a couple of losses we shouldn't have lost. If that team was built with the heart of the 2009 team, I think we would have gone unbeaten the entire team
Yeah,
with the pieces we
with
had.
a big margin of points.
Yeah, but
each
like
game.
they say, it's not in the size of the dog, but the fight in the dog.
Yeah.
So we had more fight in that team. And I remember after that, sometimes we would be talking, you meet those guys who left and they say, but do you know that 2009 team, if they met these guys, we would beat them. And you're part of this current team. I tell you, what are you trying to say? But you would think of that team would switch on.
Yeah.
I remember the first game in 2009, I think it's Zone 5. We played, I think, a team called a certain team in Rwanda. They had this size, they had this big two guys, there was a brown guy, and they were bossing us. And the way we beat those guys hand down, nobody would believe. And I know Power was supposed to be the representative, the ambassador, because they had been there, they had been a team that was winning championships. And where guys were coming from never qualifying for the championship, never going for Zone 5, never winning a championship, were the outside guys. And then we shocked the whole world. Nobody could understand what we had gone through. Like I'm telling you, 2009 was a culmination of all those fire tests that we.
So 2009 was more valuable than 2012.
Personally, to me.
I mean, if I'm to let you, if I'm to
But
ask
you know,
to-
2009 was like the stepping stone. It was the trampoline that really got us.
going.
Yeah, because I remember when we were going for Zone 5, the African Championship in Rwanda. I remember Brian's mom, our manager, Brian Gumisiriza, his dad, sorry, was talking to us. They hosted us, I think, Femila at their home, and he was talking to us, saying, no, winning at the league, yeah, that's a big deal, but now you shouldn't stop here. You should think of Africa.
Yeah.
And I think our manager took it literally and went and signed pieces that he thought would do it. Because when we went to those games, like I'm telling you, we went for those games, we played, I remember I was playing big man, marking a guy from Agosto, a team from Angola. And this guy's bicep.
It was like your thigh.
You know, I got him to mark him, and I started laughing before I got, because I was looking at his bicep. And I remember telling guys, like, we used to be jokes. Sometimes we'd joke about. I was telling guys, this guy is going to move me with his bicep like this and put me with once. And you're playing a guy, you know. But at the end of the game, I remember this guy's complimenting and telling us, you guys are a very talented team. The only problem you have is the size.
Size, yes.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why the manager went, the club president went and signed the size. All that those people didn't have that fight that we had.
I mean, if you're to select the best Warriors starting five ever, who would they be? I'm putting you on the spot.
No. I can't. That would, I can't, because so many different people, like I'm telling you, starting five, okay, but I wouldn't be called doing that. I wouldn't be called doing that.
Bella.
You know why? I don't like the idea of selecting starting five or best five, because so many people come with different strength. Yeah. And through time, if I chose Jude because I love his shooting, and he was the best teammate I ever had. Jude was the best teammate. We fought a lot. I fought more with him than I ever did with anybody. That made him a best teammate, especially in games. He's a firebrand guy. He's a guy of emotion. When he will really give his head what he thinks is his head. And I love that. I would give him money also. So we had these fights. One time, this fight happened in a game, and Nelson Wafula was nearby. And he was flabbergasted the way we were having each other, like we were opponents. And he came and told me, how do you guys manage to play after those situations? Now, that's when I realized that we're having moments that would shock other guys. Yeah. For me, being in that moment with him, like, sometimes it happens in situations like you haven't played, you haven't trained maybe a session or two. Now you're in a game, and then you're not shooting like they expect you to be shooting. Yeah. And so it would be killing me in the game. See what I tell you? Now look, you're missing those shots. Those are not shots you're missing. Those are not shots. So I don't want to take it. It's laying down. So I would get at, give me your beard. So it would really blow so hard at me. But what would make this situation special for me, I remember them so much, was the next training session is Monday or Tuesday. He would call me at 9 and tell me, you have time? I'll definitely have that time. I'll never let him know that I have the time.
Yeah.
Do you have the time? Come on, let's work on this shot. Come on, let's work out. So that day would be there sometimes midday, sometimes at 2, sometimes 3, at least 2 or so many hours before the guys would come. And then we would shoot. And when we were shooting, while we were improving on the shot, working on the shot, we are talking about the game, about what has been happening in the last training session when I wasn't there. And another thing he liked me being training was the captain. But he knew of the players, if there was somebody who was going to talk about something that had to be talked about, the hard truth, he would want me to talk, because I would not flinch. I would give it. So if I wasn't there at the training session, it pisses him off, because I would have to talk. There are guys who would talk also, but they would be restrained. I would give it point blank, and he wanted me to be in those situations. So when we were training, you were shooting, throwing those shots, 3, 2, competing, of course. And I never wanted to compete with him and showing, okay, I missed last training session. So I would be pushing me harder to beat him, because he has been, and he's a good shooter. So you're trying to beat him. That would push me hard for the training session. And that was good for me. And then we'll be talking about the training, would tell me what I missed, what I should improve on, what I can do. And then training session, I'm talking to other guys, because I'm one of the long-serving guys. So they want you to talk. Yeah.
I mean, the last question before we go into quick fire: what happened to Warriors, and will you ever see Warriors back in the league?
What happened to Warriors? First, there was COVID. That was reality. COVID happened, and then the team disbanded, and then they couldn't get back. They were disbanded. But the problem was, what happened to Warriors, I think will happen to most of the teams that are currently playing. And most of the teams have faced it. Miracle faced it. Blue Jackets faced it. Rhinos are no longer where they should be. Falcons are not there. It's a management problem. It's a management problem. How you recruit a team, how you manage the team. It's a challenge, because we reached a point where we had more than half of the playing staff are foreigners. That was negative for the team's growth, because these people anytime can go back to their countries, and that's exactly what happened.
And they need to get
so
paid.
While I can say COVID came and really disrupted a lot, and the team was broken, but also our management toward that point that we made it so easy for COVID to disrupt us, because other teams faced the same challenges, but so easy for us because we had so many foreigners in the team. Will we see Warriors again? It's my dream. I pray every day I see Warriors, because
it had one of the biggest fans in the country.
It had one of the biggest fans, but personally, Warriors was not just a team. Warriors was a family. And up to now, there are people you call up. Sometimes you want to call and pinch somebody, you call them up. They're the guys. Of course, I prank them a lot. I call and with pranks, call myself somebody. Either I'm a fan, the corporal, somebody. Call them so. But some of them have gotten used to it. Caesar's gotten. I do Caesar a lot because he falls for it so easily. I do them a lot. So how you had this? So you call them, but Warriors is more than just a team. Because I belong to it for so long, but it became a family, and you pray for that family to be back.
Let's pray. Anyway, before we get done with the show today, let's go to quick fire. I'm going to mention players, and you tell me who you'd prefer. I'll begin with local players first. Kami, you don't have to give me a reason why you're picking a player. Just casual. Kami Kabange and Henry Malinga. Ivan Enabu, Komakech Ben.
That's not easy. Ivan Enabu, he just gives me so much fun. He gives so much fun. Quickly, I love his, but I love to be part of it. But there's a calmness about Koma. He's a silent killer, so that one is a tough one.
It's a tough one, eh?
That's a tough one.
Ikong Kaseu.
Okay. Emilio in the tunnel, man.
Omony, Stephen Omony, Norman Blake. Eric Malinga, Chiberu David.
Eric Malinga, oh come on.
Sudi Ulaga, this one is rigged over. Judo Chen.
Don't ask. Judo is my best friend.
Let's pass that one. Martin Okwako and Aru Ramadan.
Martin Okwako.
Okay. Jimmy Enabu, Ken Balejusa.
That's another tough one. But it's usually because of Jimmy and Nabu's longevity. They could do lots of things just as Jimmy and Nabu.
Moses Olobo, Serunyego Rogers.
Serenigo.
Kisa Godi and Boniface Okelo.
Boniface.
I mean, that was the local. Let's go into international. Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade.
Kobe.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
Michael Jordan any day.
Okay, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Stephen Curry, CP3, Chris Paul.
Steph.
Kevin Durant, Scottie Pippen.
Scotty.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo.
Hakim.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Will Chamberlain.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Will Chamberlain. Abdul-Jabbar.
Reggie Miller, Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. I'll take Reggie Miller.
Then Stephen Curry, Allen Iverson.
Steph Curry.
Okay, I mean, I think that's it. Before we wrap this up, I just want you to look at the camera and any last words like to the viewers outside there, the kids who want to learn the game. I mean, talk to them.
Basketball is a great game. Sport is good for your health. Sport is good for your future. One thing I've picked from sport is character, being resilient. Life sometimes throws challenges at us, and there are people who are brittle, easily break, because they have never been used to the challenges of losing. Sport is about winning and losing, and sometimes you can lose, sometimes you win. It's not a do or die. So it teaches you discipline, it teaches you gives you that character, that even when things are going bad, there's hope for tomorrow. You don't give up today. So be part of sports if you're not part of it. Then if you're part of it, in the Ugandan scene, you must think of bursaries, scholarships. This is the easiest thing that changes your life as a sports person. Build yourself as a person. Don't play just for the sake of playing. That was way back then when there were no bursaries. Look out for those bursaries. Teams that pay, but paying isn't going to change your life. Bursaries do. And a team that wants to give you an opportunity, ask for bursary. Let them pay for you.
Okay.
And then one other thing I wanted to say, I forgot to say, this is something that's so special for me. The ladies' basketball has really come so high. They have really stepped up so high, and I really appreciate what the ladies have done. Kate Ratch tournament, what the current commissioner are doing. They have brought the ladies' game so high that it challenges the guys. And it's a challenge for us guys, the people who have been in the game. What are we doing for the game? What are we putting out there? These ladies are bringing something. That is so special. Only that what I want them to look at now, where the ladies' game has come, you can't say that the male guys have dominated it. Okay, the ladies can actually upstage the male guys, and they should look at competing against them, not looking for favors or special, because now they can outlive that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure being here.
I mean, I hope next time I invite you, we shall have a big conversation with Bella. Everyone.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed, that will be special.
I mean, that has been one of the greatest who have ever done it in Uganda basketball, Mr. Stephen Okiasi. I guess I'll see you next time. For the viewers outside there who have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Kawowo Sports. I've been your host, Vinny Jura. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.